Triadica sebifera, commonly known as the Chinese tallow tree, originated in China, then spread throughout Eastern Asia until around the late 1700s when it was introduced into North America. It has since become one of the most prolific and harmful invasive plant species in the southeastern United States. In this video, we're going to talk about some strategies for dealing with it, and I'm going to show you how we're getting rid of it on our property here in Magnolia Bend. Alright, so the first thing we got to do is figure out where the Chinese tallow trees are. And Chinese tallow has a very distinctive heart-shaped leaf, which makes it easy to identify when the trees have foliage on them. But the problem with that is when they have foliage on them, a lot of the other trees and shrubs do as well. So it can make it kind of harder to get to them, especially in a dense, unmanaged woods like this. So what I found is if I wait until late winter when all the leaves have dropped, they're a lot easier to find. Let me show you. So I'm looking up at the top of the trees and I see these little black dots on the ends of the branches of some of the trees. I'm not sure how well that's going to show up, but that tree that we're looking at right now, you can see little black dots. It almost looks like little berries on the end of the branches. And that right there is why they call this tree the popcorn tree down here, because it looks like burnt popcorn kernels, I guess. Here's a close-up. This is one I cut the other day. So you see those little black and berry looking things? These are telltale sign it's a popcorn tree. Nothing else around here has anything like that. So this is really what we're looking for to identify it. There happens to be a few around here. For some reason they spread along the road right here. I guess it was the slowest to grow in after the land was reclaimed by nature. But getting to some of this stuff in here is the real challenge. Like that one over there, that's one sticking up. But you can see to get to it, we got to hack through that jungle. So that's really the annoying part of it. I can see a really big one over there behind that, and there's one over here. There's probably, I don't know, 2, 4, 6, 7 right here, and there's probably some I'm not seeing. But they are kind of clustered up together here along the road in this area. So here's a big one right there. That's Chinese tallow. See those berries looking things on the end? I'm not actually sure what those are called. I mean, they're part of the seeds, but that's what we're looking for. So we need to get our way down to that so I can cut it down. Whew, those vines make it a lot more difficult to get around in here. But I've more or less cleared to this Chinese tallow tree. Now, another way I identify the Chinese tallow from the other trees in here is the bark. It has a more of a kind of scaly bark that has longer pieces, like the pieces of it are longer than an oak tree, which kind of has a similar texture, but an oak tree is quite a bit darker, and it also is more square, like the pieces, I guess. I'll show you some pictures on the screen so you can see what I'm talking about. But nothing else in here in Magnolia Bend has bark like a Chinese tallow. So that's another way I can confirm that that indeed is what it is, because sometimes the little popcorn things have all fallen off at this point of the year. But you can look at the bark and tell. And sometimes I'll just walk through and look at the bottom and try to pick out these barks on the trees, and then I'll check it. So Next thing to do is to cut this bad boy down. All right, I was worried that all the vines attached to that tree were going to prevent it from falling all the way over, because that happens a lot in here. But I guess this one was big enough that those vines weren't going to stop it. And also I cut off the bigger ones first because I knew it might do that. So now what we need to do is treat the stump. Like a lot of woody invasive plants, Chinese tallow, if you just cut it off and leave it there like this, it's going to sprout like a whole bunch of new stems coming off of it and just grow an even bigger tree eventually. So within 5 to 10 minutes or so of cutting it, like right away pretty much, we want to apply some sort of herbicide. Now on these I'm going to use triclopeer. It's a little bit better than glyphosate, I think, for woody stuff. It's selective, meaning it only is effective on broadleaf plants, so it doesn't affect grasses like glyphosate does. And it's kind of interesting. Glyphosate works by blocking some sort of amino acid that the plants need to survive, whereas triclopeer, it mimics a hormone called auxin, which regulates plant growth. So essentially what it does is it makes them grow out of control, and that kills them. But either way, we just need to take it out. So all I'm going to do with this is that buckthorn blaster I showed in a previous video. It's just like one of those glue applicator looking things. And I'm just going to dab this triclopeer around the cambium. You know, the cambium is the only really living part of the trunk. It's like the capillary system for the tree, how it moves fluids up and down the tree. And so if we dab this on the cambium, on this outer ring, within a short time of cutting it, the tree is going to pull it down into its root system and kill it. That's the idea. Just want to make sure, this is a big tree, so I want to make sure I get plenty on there. I've got a blue dye in here, so because some of them I forgot to do, so I'm gonna have to come back and I might make another video when I do that and do like a foliar spray later when they start resprouting. I'll show you what that looks like. But for these I remembered, so I've got the blue dye. Now if I come back I can remember, like, oh yeah, I did this one, right? All right. One of the interesting things about Chinese tallow is that it can't grow in the shade, which explains why we only find it up here in the northern acreage. I haven't seen a single Chinese tallow tree in the south part or in the middle. And the reason for that is that this land, this ground that we're standing on now, was crop fields when I was a kid. My grandfather was farming it. So after he died and the land was allowed to rewild, it went back to nature and just did whatever it wanted to. That disturbed, what they call disturbed ground, was a prime opportunity for the Chinese tallow seeds to come in and flourish. And that's why they've done that here. But I mean, it's a good thing because we don't have to deal with it on the whole property, just in this area. But I thought that was interesting as an explanation of why we only find it up here. Here's another big one that we need to take out. This might be the biggest one in here. Take this sucker out. So I think you can see by now why I recommend doing this in the winter. It's hard enough to traipse through all these vines and underbrush and stuff while there aren't leaves on them. Plus it's not 110 degrees back here like it is in the summer. Now I've been doing this the past couple weeks when I have time, coming in here, cutting down the Chinese tallow. There's still a few of them. I'd say probably, I don't know, 10 or 20 left. Some of them are pretty large, and some of them look like they might fall into the power lines across the street, so I got to be a little careful about them. I'm saving them for last. But that's basically how you want to go about it. Identify the trees, make sure they're Chinese tallow, look for the popcorn kernels at the tips of the branches and the telltale bark on the trunk. Clear an area around it if you need to work safely. Then cut it as low as you can manage and immediately apply some sort of herbicide to the cut stump. I'm using triclopyr here. I'll let you know how that works out. While I was in here last week, I went ahead and took down this big Bradford pear tree. It's something I've been wanting to do for a while. I was just waiting until I came in here to do all these Chinese tallow to take care of it. And I was a little worried about this one because I know that Bradford pears, the wood is notoriously weak, so it can break in strange ways and fall in ways that you weren't expecting. And it was kind of a large tree, so I was slightly concerned about it. So what I did was I took a pole extension saw, a battery powered one, and I just cut off all the limbs that I could reach first and chopped them up and got them out of the way so that when I went to cut the main trunk, I wouldn't have so much to worry about. And as I thought, the wood is super weak. Like you go to cut it and you're halfway through it and it just breaks and snaps off. So I'm kind of glad that I did that. And I'm glad to get this tree out of here because, like I said, it's a weak tree, it's invasive, it's non-native, it reproduces like crazy. Like I had to cut, I don't know, probably 5 or 6 or 7 little, couple inch in diameter Bradford pears around the tree that had been started growing. So I mean, this could easily become a monoculture in here in this slightly open space. But also because this tree in particular was suffering from, I think it's called quince rust, and I think it's a fungus that affects the fruit of these trees, and I think it affects apples as well. But we've got that pear tree in the yard, the good pears that we actually eat. So I was always kind of worried, like what if one year this disease got communicated into that tree? So taking it out, now I don't have to worry about that as much. And I'm just glad to have it done, to have this one gone. So that's how you take care of Chinese tallow. Remember, if you're doing any chainsaw work, be sure to take the proper safety precautions. We've got about an hour's worth of daylight left, so I'm gonna cut a few more down. But thanks for watching, and until next time, good luck out there.